So to do that, you're going to come over here on the left where it says Resume Builder. All right. And when you first set up the Teal account, it's going to ask you, do you want to import? There's two things you can do. You can import it via LinkedIn, or you can upload a PDF of your resume. I recommend the LinkedIn because it's very predictable. And then you can copy and paste in information from your resume. It's just going to get you a faster result. We're going to make it much better to import the PDFs because resumes can be all over the map in terms of formatting and structure and the way they were exported. They're just not as reliable. You can use it, but with certainty, the LinkedIn is going to work better. So we're going to go ahead and import Tina Miller's LinkedIn. Tina Miller is our Teal member that we use if you see any of our demonstrations. Tina Miller is a senior marketing manager or marketing director, and so those are the kind of jobs we're going to look for. But these ideas extend to any occupation or any function. All right, so let's go ahead and import that. You can take the tour when you first sign up for the platform. We're going to go ahead and skip it because I'm going to kind of be showing you everything here. All right, so high level, let me give you a walkthrough of the interface. You've got obviously all your tools here on the left. If you ever want to expand them, you click the duck and shrink it. But we are in a resume now. And you've got on the left, that's what we refer to as your career history. And one of the core concepts behind the Teal Resume Builder, and Teal more broadly, is to have a database of everything you've ever done. We are trying to decouple the creation and the curation, which is where we see a lot of people struggle with their resume, is they're trying to make this one perfect artifact that answers all the possible questions that someone might have about your career. And the truth is we're just more complicated than that. And the needs of the market, i.e. employers, is more complicated than that. So on the left, you have your career history, everything you've ever done. You don't need to worry about removing things, editing it in the sense of like taking things off, what's more valuable, but everything. We want this to be exhaustive. Let me bring up my chat also just in case I'm not missing anything. So this is what we call the career history. It's not labeled that anywhere in the interface, but that's what we refer to the left as. And you can see it's everything I've ever done. And then on the right, you've got utilities and tools you can do with that career history, and you generate resumes, which are kind of like views of your career history. All right, that's the fundamental premise. So if you ever try to go make a new resume and it doesn't start out blank, that's because that's just not what we are. We're not like Google Docs where you're starting from blank every time. We're actually saying you're starting from your career history every time, and we accelerate that process. Yes, this will be recorded and sent out. Okay, so we've got that core principle. Let's go ahead and just tidy this up a little bit, get our email address in here. I've got this stuff saved from before from having used the browser, so I'm not going to waste too much time on that. So that's in there now. And on a per resume basis, the premise is you can turn things on and off. All right, and so you've got all this information on the left. On a per resume basis, you can turn it on and off. I'm a big fan of target titles. I know this is, unfortunately, one of the tough things about being a job seeker is all the conflicting advice out there. I like target titles. I think it's where you can channel the title you want. If you're going to use them, they should match as closely as possible to the job you're applying to. Do not leave it on there if you are like pivoting and you're putting on an old title. It's an immediate negative signal. If you are someone who worked in finance and you are switching to social media, don't leave financial analyst at the top, right? But the flip side of that is it's an opportunity for you to channel this title that you haven't had before. I would not put on any qualifiers like aspiring or something like that, right? So in this case, Tina is looking for a marketing director position. So we'll go ahead and save that, and we will turn it on. You can see it's here at the top of the resume. Professional summaries is another one of those that's kind of contentious. I'm a fan. The only time I would not use them if you are like recently out of school or you've got a very short career. It's kind of less to summarize, so it becomes redundant. I think that the real value of a professional summary is being able to speak about your successes in aggregate, right? So if you've worked at 4 different jobs and you did, $250,000 in sales in each, your professional summary, you can say, I've done over $1 million in sales. So you can talk about your successes in aggregate, and there's really nowhere else on your resume to do that. You can do it in paragraph form or bulleted form, whichever works for you. That's why I like it. It's kind of like your pitch. Don't make it long. Don't make it redundant. All right, then comes your work experience. Let's go ahead and turn these on. But you can see now you have every achievement you've ever done. We'll just kind of skim through these, make sure they work well. Some of these don't have any. I'll show you how to add them in a minute. Education, we'll add on the end dates, and then all your skills are here. Right now, there's no way to customize your skills. They just sort of show as a single comma separated list. That's coming very soon. In the next few weeks, you'll be able to control that better. But for now, we're optimizing for sort of compact space. These just aren't valued as high as skills in your work experience. So it's just a way for you to think of it almost like as an appendix for your skills. So we kept it super tight and crisp. People want to see it in the context of the job and how you had impact. Okay, so we're high level, we're set up. Now let's show how let's focus on the content first and how we would add to this content. So if we wanted to add a work experience here, if you've got it on your resume, it's not on here, it wasn't on your LinkedIn, you can just copy paste it. So you do add an achievement. And we'll give you some guidance. There's always going to be this guidance here on the right. You can use this assistant, which is more of like a Mad Libs, So we did like increased revenue. We got a bunch of nouns here you can pick from, by 150% in 9 months. By might be redundant, so maybe I would use a different one, but I'll just keep it here, for simplicity. Relaunching consumer. I'm a really bad typer and speller. All right, so you can see it constructs it here. You can save it, and then it adds it as an achievement. So you can use that. It's really meant to like help you think about the ways that you would structure a statement like that. You can add a company description if you would like. If you click here, edit company name, you can add a company description. So spell check wasn't catching that. So that you can also turn on and turn off. I would only use that if it's if you feel the person reading your resume isn't familiar with that company. And I say it that way very specifically. If you are in a niche where the recruiter would probably be familiar with the company name, like maybe your friends on the weekend wouldn't be familiar with the company name, but the person hiring you would be because they're a competitor, then don't put it. Right? Think about every word on your resume and it's taking up that space and the value it brings. So if you don't need the person to know, then don't add it. Now, if it's a company, you're pivoting from industries and no one knows that was a Fortune 100 company that did a ton of work, but no one's ever heard of them before, it could be helpful context to help people understand. So I'd recommend you use it. We have had some people ask us for the same on the position. We don't think that's a good idea. We don't recommend it. Again, clarity. Don't make me think when I'm reading your resume. So like some is in paragraph form as a description of the role, but some's in a bullet. Just keep it really simple. Bullets, keep it consistent, put it in there and write out that impact. So those are achievements. Now, other ways you can make an achievement. So here's one where I don't have any. This was a marketing assistant. You can leverage AI. Everything I'm showing you in the tool right now is free. We are very much using the Teal free platform right now. I'll eventually upgrade this account so you can see some of the things you can do with Teal Plus. But what the AI does, we're really trying to make it sort of one click easy. You can also use something like ChatGPT and just paste these in if you want a little more control. But it's using the job title to give you possibilities of what an achievement could look like. The AI wasn't with you, Teal wasn't with you. We don't know exactly what you did. So think of these as like templates that you could pick from. And the AI knows that given this job title, these are possible achievements that you could have done. So look at this, generated 100 plus leads in 3 months, resulting in an increase in sales and customer base. We don't know if you did or did not do that, but you can edit this. So if leads was not the thing you were focused on, maybe your company called them opportunities, you can rename it. If you didn't do any of this, but you did increase sales and customer base, then change the front part. They're really there to accelerate your process of creating. You see a lot of people get stuck with, I don't remember what I did. Not even sure like what metrics we measured. So it's really there to give you ideas, not to invent things you did. All right, so that's a way you can use it. I recommend you save them because right now they count down every time you generate one. And it does overwrite this. We're going to work on making that a little better, but that's how that works at the moment. So go ahead and save it. And that's how you can add achievements. And you can see you can add them pretty quickly. It's going to pull that in. And, so you can add achievements. You can also look, you can get, save them all and then just uncheck them if you don't need them. That pulls it off the resume. You can edit them. You can duplicate them. If I wanted to make a version of this that was slightly different, you just hit this little duplicate icon and then you can edit that version. Right, and so that one's edited. And we'll get back to that in a minute because I wanted to show how editing distributes across other resumes. And then education and skills are pretty straightforward. If you want to add skills, you can just do this. Comma separated if you want to do multiples. And they're there, skill 1 and skill 2. Okay, so that's content creation. Target titles, professional summaries, pretty straightforward. Professional summary also works with AI, but I would wait to have your career history filled out because that's what it uses to generate it. So now that I've got my career history filled out, I can hit generate with AI and it's going to pull in. It doesn't aggregate up the metrics in the way that I recommended. So do some of that yourself if you can. So it's going to pull from those achievements. It's going to try to make a punchy statement for you. It's going to try to keep it within our rules. AI is a little funny about that sometimes. We recommend 350, but these are kind of guidelines. None of it is a hard and fast rule. So conciseness and brevity is a good thing. And there you go. So now you've got another professional summary that it generated for you. Each section, as you are working on it, you will get guidance that is contextually relevant. That's kind of the idea. So when I click in here, you see professional summary, you get that. We're always trying to give you that guidance per action you're taking. You then have analysis. And so there's 2 tiers to analysis. There's basic analysis and advanced analysis. The advanced analysis is Teal Plus. I'll upgrade us in a little bit so you can see it. The basic analysis is looking for core things that everyone should just have around some length, character count, core information, just in case, hey, I missed my email or something like that. This one, it's not saying I don't think I have enough achievements on this resume. It wants me to be somewhere between 10 and 15. It'll take me there to help me sort it out. This job in particular has, I think it's fine. We say between 3 and 5 for the first job. So that's what analysis does. Matching mode is to compare this resume to a job. I'll save that for a little bit once we've saved some jobs in our job tracker. Then it's formatting our resume. Again, because Teal at a foundational level works with this database of your career history, you can then alter and change how it presents that information. So rather than needing to pick a whole new template and copy and paste a whole bunch of text, you can now reshape that data in lots of different ways. We've got 4 different formats. So here's one with this nice bar. It's a little bit of like an aesthetic move. Then if you wanted to change your font, you can do that. It does it to the whole resume. I like Poppins. If we wanted to add a slight accent color, we could do that. And then things that people have real strong beliefs on, but probably don't have too much of an impact on hireability, but we want to give you that control. So things like dates, do you want the dates on the right? No problem. You just change that setting and you can see over here, it moved the dates over to the right. If you wanted to, so here, I've got 2 positions at Facebook, marketing manager and marketing coordinator. Some people like to group their experience by the position rather than by the company. My personal preference and my recommendation is group them by the company and show your tenure at the company level so it's the most possible. Some people don't like that. One thing I will say is ATSs tend to parse dates at the position level better from the tests I've done. I don't think that's a good reason to do it, but I do like to share that. So group work experience by position. So you can see here, marketing manager, Facebook, marketing coordinator, Facebook. It has no achievements, so that's why you can't see it. Again, it's redundant when you do this because you have to show the company. But some people really want it, and I don't think it, at the end of the day, makes that much of a difference. Work experience date range, again, I think by company is the best way to do it because it shows the maximum time, right? You got to think about the way that resumes are reviewed. They're very, very quick. Oftentimes quoted as the 7 seconds from the Ladder's eye study that was done. But the intention of that, it is quick. People skim very quickly. So I want to remove any potential for a misunderstanding. And so I've seen some people do it. I'll do it here by position, right? There's more dates on the page now. People may not realize that that was at the same company, so they may misinterpret it as job hoppy. I think most people that are interested in your skills and abilities, and if the achievements are good, they will read on. So not a big deal. But again, my preference is by company. You could do both. I think that's excessive and I don't recommend it, but some people really, really want it. That's how you would change that. And if you want to show the dates, you can do that. So formatting mode is how you control the presentation. And then if you need to reorder the sections, you do that here as well. So say you're recently a graduate from a boot camp or a university or school, and you want to put your education at the top, you just do that. Right. And again, the idea here is that this is a database of your achievements that you can keep for life. So for now, this particular resume has an education at the top, and in the future, you can put one that puts skills at the top or work experience at the top. You can control this on a per resume basis. So given that, let's come back over to the resume builder home, which is your list of all your resumes. So now you can create a new one from scratch, which when you do that, will pull in your career history. But those changes that you made to that last resume will try to be saved. So it reuses that. So you can see here, the resume is based on the last one I did, but you can still go in and change the formatting of this particular resume if you wanted. You'll notice some of the career information did not get pulled over. That's because it was saved locally on that resume. Tonight at around 10 o'clock at night, we're pushing an update that will fix this. And it's going to always be the latest version of what's saved, and syncing across resumes is going to be much, much better. So there's a little bit of a kind of a pointlessness to the away today, but I do want you to know because the concept is the same. So today, what you need to do is you need to go to your work history. Here's the pop-up saying this page is going away. And if you edit it here, let's get rid of that. You can then save to all resumes. So this little checkbox after today, which is, if you watch this on YouTube, Monday, July 24th, this little checkbox will be on every resume. So you will be able to save to all resumes. It's going to make it very easy to manage multiple versions of your resume. So again, so up until 10 o'clock tonight, you just got to go over to work history, hit save, and it pushes it out. If I go back over to my resume builder and I see this new one, that's all there. Okay. So again, that's going to be changed. It's going to be much, much easier. When you go to edit this, there will be a checkbox right here that says save. But today, if you're following along, that might be the reason. So another example of that was, remember I duplicated one of these achievements. Let's see. Yeah, down here. So this is edited version, because actually I must be in the one that. So there we go. See, it didn't save it because that was saved locally. So when you made edits, they were stored to the local resume. Again, you're going to have that checkbox and it's going to save everywhere. It's going to make it much, much easier. But it gives you an idea that you have this database and you have these instances or these individual resumes that you can then modify. If we have a little time at the end, I can demo it. But if you watch the video that's in the platform, it shows it. Again, around 10 o'clock tonight, that should go live. All right, that's the resume. I think we'll stop at the resume there. The next stage is jobs. But for anyone who wants to do their resume first, just get it in a good place. And it's a bit of a mental blocker before being able to proceed with your job search. That's how you would go about doing that. Now, to my recommended approach, it's let's go look for jobs first, right? Because that's the market, and the market's going to tell us what they need before we spend a ton of time making a resume, that may not respond to the market well. So with that, let's jump over to the job tracker. All right, there's a tool. It'll show you how to use it. We'll skip that since we're kind of doing that live. So this is the job tracker. We've chosen to use more of a spreadsheet paradigm over what's called Kanban, which are the sliding cards. I think a healthy job search might have 50, 60 active jobs across the various stages. So we like the spreadsheet better for that. You've got your stages of your pipeline up at the top. These are jobs that are actively in your job tracker. I'll show you on the home how we have a pipeline, which is jobs you've ever put in your pipeline. And that's more of a funnel, but this is what you currently have active. And there's some functionality that you can do with that, but we only have a few jobs, so it doesn't matter as much right now. In the table view, you can change some of these fields. I can change my status to say, I'm applying to this job. So I've sort of bookmarked it to be able to start to work on it. And I've moved it over to applying because I'm going to start to tailor my resume and do things. I like that as a bit of a staging ground before I've applied. A lot of people just skip that stage, but that's kind of my recommended approach. Then you have your dates saved. You can rate your jobs. When you click into a job, then you can see you've got your stages up here, your rating. You have your various modes. So if you want to take notes on a job, you can click these and add notes. If you want to add contacts, we've got a checklist, very detailed checklist of steps you can take, and then some email templates. There's one per stage for free. The additional ones are part of Teal Plus. And then for free, you see the top 5 keywords in the job description. So that's the overall management. Next is adding jobs to your job tracker. You can do that by hand by just clicking add new job. You put in the job title, URL, you can paste in the JD, but it is much, much faster to do it with our Chrome extension. So I'm going to show you how you do that. So I'm going to come over here to LinkedIn. I've got these saved already, a little bit of prep work. So Tina's looking for senior marketing manager positions. I'm doing it in Denver. I recommend you search in Denver because they're a state, sorry, in Colorado. I use Denver because there's more jobs there. But as a state, they require salary transparency. So I like it for searching for jobs. I think, there we go. If the Chrome extension doesn't show up, it should be the teal duck on the right. Sometimes you just have to do a refresh. I'm not covering how to install a Chrome extension. It's very straightforward. If you have questions, I can do it at the end. But you just install it and then it'll authenticate with your Teal credentials. So we are on the job search page. And what I like to do is, oh, there it goes. It authenticated me. Why is it? All right, this is the first time that happens to me. Let me try again. There we go. It's because I logged us out and I deleted all the cookies to make a fresh brand new account. That's why that happened. This browser has many, many Teal accounts. That's why that would happen. If that happens to you, that could be the reason. So now you can see that the extension is up. And what I like to do is I like to leave it up while I search for jobs. It will pull in the title. If it finds a salary in the job description, it'll sort of pull it out for you. Sometimes you'll see some of these fields. If I'm going really quick and it wasn't able to read the page, that's something that could happen. So you could just sort of click off and then click back on, and then it'll bring it up. So if that does happen, that might be a reason. So here's a job, 100,000, 143,000. I see the top skills. And so what I recommend you do is bookmark a bunch of jobs. There's in lean manufacturing, there's a process called batching. And I think for job searching, batching is very, very helpful. Rather than doing it all as a sort of serial process of saving a job, tailoring my resume, getting the application out, you're doing a lot of context switching and it becomes really inefficient. And because the job search is a dynamic thing that's changing every day, new jobs get posted, new jobs get taken down. I like batching. So what I would do is I would set up some time in the morning or in the afternoon, a block of time, whatever works for you, to do your initial bookmarking. These aren't even jobs that you're necessarily going to apply to, but things that you're interested in. Because this is so fast and easy, what I recommend you do is look for these jobs and just bookmark away. If you can, rate it now. It'll make it faster and it'll help you calibrate what you're interested in, what you're excited about. So this one's kind of like a 3 for me. I'll go ahead and save the job. And then you just go to the next one. This one, I think Cloudflare is a cool company. I like it. I'm going to give it a 5 and I'll go ahead and save the job. And, hadn't heard of this one, but, not for me. And so you get the idea, right? And just bookmark a bunch. This one had the salary, so I'm going to save it and dig into that later. And so, I'd set yourself a goal of bookmarking 10, 20 jobs a day. It should be this quick. And then what you can do is you can save this search. So you don't need to retype this every day. What I do is I just click here and drag it into my browser. And so when I click this, it'll just take me to that search and it'll refresh daily. So I would just make that part of my routine. You can save them all in a spreadsheet, save them all in a doc, and just click those links every day, make it real quick and easy. You can make yourself a folder, job search queries, and it works with about 40 different job sites. So I wouldn't just look on LinkedIn either. The way job boards work is companies need to pay to be on there, and companies don't pay to be on every job board. And then they all have their own different search and weighting algorithms. So even though the job may be on multiple job boards, it may not show up in your search query. I would also do various versions of the job title. So here, I'm searching for senior marketing manager. That might also be marketing director with very similar years of experience, but the company is just choosing it to call it that because they have different leveling internally. So I would come up with a few versions of the job titles, and you can use your target titles in the resume builder to save those, and then just save these search queries. I would make a new folder on my bookmarks. I would call it like search queries, and I would drag this one in here. Right. And you can even, it says marketing directors. So that's my marketing director one. I could have one for senior marketing manager and do those various versions. And I would do that process every day. At the very least, I would do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I feel like more jobs get posted those days. And then repeat that cycle. You want to constantly be getting jobs into your pipeline. You can see all these jobs are very different than the ones that were in the previous search. So let's go ahead and add a few of these as well. Job at Accenture. Similar salary ranges, different job title. Right? So job titles really matter. The job search engines really index to the job title. So it's on you to think of the various versions of each job title. It's a great use case for ChatGPT also. If you're not using it in your job search, you should. You say, what are 10 other alternative titles for this job? You could do that. You could paste in a JD and say, what are other job titles that this JD could correspond to? So lots of cool ways you could leverage AI. Eventually, we'll build that stuff in natively into Teal, but it's not. And those are free ways you could use ChatGPT. All right, so I'll go ahead and bookmark one more. Now that all those jobs are bookmarked, I'll go back over to my job tracker. And you can see I've got 10 jobs in my job tracker now. And we can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to move this one to the applying stage. I'm going to move this one to the applying stage. These are the ones I intend to apply to. And you can see that my funnel's updating here. So if I want to quickly see all the ones that I intend to apply to, I can click that and it filters them down for me. I can go back to my bookmark, and if you click it again, it hides them all. And then there may be some that, you know what, I don't like this one. I'm just going to go ahead and archive it. And that will eventually pull them off. It doesn't refresh it on the fly. But if you do want to go see your old archive jobs, you just come over to menu, archive jobs, and they'll all be right there. So you don't lose anything. They're not all in one view. We've had a few people ask for that. We'll probably add that in, but you can see they're off of here now, and you could always get to them. You can now search. Once you have more than 7 jobs in here, we pop up the search, and you can group them by status. So if that's your preferred view to see it, you can do that. All right, let's go into a particular job now. So we're here, we're in this job, and there's now other things we can do here. We are not upgraded. I will upgrade us in a little bit, and you will see all the keywords and how they come in and things like that. But you're going to get guidance. One of the things we're always trying to do is give you that guidance. So you can see here on the right, for this stage of applying, there's some guidance. And it's going to tell me, hey, do you know anyone that works at Workday? Let's check and see. If you click these links, what we're really trying to do is give you shortcuts to some best practices. In this case, it's filtering it to first-degree connections of people that work at Workday. See, it already filled it out for me. Tina Miller doesn't have a lot of connections, so we're going to go ahead and turn that off. And now we can see people. And here is an HR operations person. Ideally, I'd look for a recruiter. Maybe the hiring manager was in the JD. But we'll go ahead and see this person. And with Teal, you can now also bookmark people. So, I don't know this person, so I'll just put them as other. My goal is to maybe try to get an informational interview. to contact them. Think of this as a networking tracker, not as just a contacts tool. And follow-up is really meant to be this like kind of generic date field for reminders, follow-ups, and you just constantly keep updating it. So if I set myself a follow-up for tomorrow, it'll send me a reminder in the morning, and I can do that. So we'll go ahead and copy Michelle's name so I can use that later. And so now I can actually attach a contact to a job. Just search for the name, and now the contact is attached. So it doesn't do it automatically, but you can manually attach contacts. All right, we can go to our, if you want to, use an email template to send out an email. I'll upgrade us in a minute, and you can see them all. All right, so now that we're in applying, the next thing we want to start to do is tailor our resume to this job. Okay, we're not going to go through the whole process. I'll show that in a second. So let's go back over to our resume builder. Let's go to one of our resumes. Now we can use matching mode. So we're going to switch over to matching mode. If I click here, I can see all the jobs that are in my job tracker. Right now, if you wanted to, you can add a new job just by clicking create new job. It'll add it to your job tracker for you. If you're not interested in using the job tracker, no problem, but it'll store the JD for you. So let's just search for that Workday job. There it is. All right, so right now it's seeing a 13% match. We're using the keywords. It's a very simple algorithm at the moment. It's just looking at unique instances of the keywords and seeing how many show up. So I would really aim for being in the yellow or green zone. It's going to be better than nothing, and it'll get you there. But don't get too bent out of shape if you can't get it to 100%. Use your judgment, right? Language, there's synonyms. Again, the algorithm is fairly simple at the moment. So use your judgment. But you can see right now we're not hitting on any of the top keywords for this particular job. You can see the JD side by side if you want to start to write up your own achievements. What does work with the free AI credits is adding achievements that ingest or use the job description to create achievements. So now if I do add an achievement, and since a job is attached or matched to the resume, I can hit generate with AI, and it's going to pull keywords from the JD. So if I save that, my match score is going to go up. I didn't quickly visually see which ones it added. Also, once you've attached a job, you can use the cover letter generator. And so it's going to take whatever's currently turned on this resume. So I'll go ahead and turn that achievement on and turn that achievement on, and I will hit generate with AI. One thing we've seen is if we send too big of an information load to the GPT API, the cover letter gets hung up. So, and we don't have the best error handling on it right now. So you want to send up really the resume that you would be using to apply, which is going to have that 20-ish resume achievements. And then it'll create a cover letter for you. It's going to be a little bit on the longer side, so we want to give you more so you can edit and remove. Some new controls are going to be coming, and you get one cover letter for free. And so that's there, and you can copy and paste that into a template. All right, so now that we've got that resume good to go, we can tweak it and we can add things and things like that. We would then say, okay, we're going to apply to that job. So let's go back over to our job tracker. Look at that Workday job. We'll have done the online application. I'll show you another example of how that works real easy in a minute. But then we'll move our job over to applied. It'll save the date that you applied. It's the day you did it. You can overwrite it and change it if, say, you applied yesterday and just hadn't gotten a chance to update it. And now you can see your dates are here. You can keep track of that. We've got some follow-up templates. If you want to send a follow-up to the recruiter, those are right here. You can take some notes if there was any. And then let's say you get called back for the interview. Then you're going to go over to the interviewing stage. Now, in interviewing, you can actually start to track your individual interviews. So you can put the day of your interview, time. Let's say it's 3 p.m. Save it. What type of interview? Was it a technical? Is it an initial screening? The format is a video interview. And you can even add interviewers. So say I am interviewing with Michelle. That's there. That core information is there from the contacts tracker. And then you can add more interviews, second interview, third interview, fourth interview, whatever you need there. If you wanted to take notes, right now we don't have the ability to add notes to the interview because the notes are right here on the side. We've gotten some requests to be able to take interview specific notes, so that may be coming. One thing to note is we love your feedback. At any point, you can hit this little icon here, and the feedback will come to us. It'll come to my whole support team. I get them. So ideas, things you want to see for us to make the software better for you, please let us know. We build this for you so that you can land a job faster and better and feel empowered in the search. So please always give us that feedback. And you want to track it through. Then you'll go over to negotiating, and you'll see that the guidance is always contextual to the stage you're in. All right. Very quickly, let me show you other things you can do with contacts. So contacts are very much like the job tracker. It's here your contacts. When you bookmark a contact on LinkedIn, the whole profile gets pulled in. So you can see all the companies they worked at, all the titles they've had, their skills. Works great for career research to see someone else with a title that you're aspiring to have. What did their career look like? So it's a really great way to do this. And this stays here and is now in sort of your database. And you don't need to go back to the person's LinkedIn if you don't want to. And then we also have the ability to bookmark companies. Right now, there's no companies on here. So it's not like a smart connection, let's call it. So it doesn't automatically add the companies, but you can bookmark them. We will work to make that a teensy bit smarter. Let's see. Oh, there we go. It wanted us to be on home. Interesting. That's a new thing. So we can save the company. And so now you can view your saved companies. So you got to go to the about section for us to pull the about information. I guess LinkedIn changed their company profile page. So there you go. You can rate companies as well. The last thing, again, I want to stay on all the Teal free stuff before I jump over to Teal Plus. You can use, I would say you do this early on, is optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Should have done this at the beginning. But you can go over to your LinkedIn profile, and with the Chrome extension installed, click the Teal duck, and we'll do just a quick little analysis of your LinkedIn profile. So, we'll recommend like your profile picture and some of the best practices for a profile picture, banner. If you sort of can't hunt down where to fix that, you can do it right from here. We'll change that for you. If you ever need to close the extension, just click that arrow, and you're back to list. We'll take it. So some guidance on the about section. And it'll help you just do a quick little audit of your LinkedIn profile. We intend to upgrade this pretty soon with some AI features and help you sort of streamline that process. But right now, it's just a very simple checklist. It's free to help you review your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so that's everything you can do with Teal free. As far as utility goes, the last thing I want to cover, it's more of a tool to kind of review things for yourself, is our Teal, the home. It's kind of your dashboard. Let me go ahead and set my goals because I didn't do that with this account. So I want to land a job in a few months. Let's go ahead and save that. Doesn't matter right now. So now my goal's been set. Okay, so once you check everything off on your list of tasks on the home, it activates your dashboard. And so here you can see follow-ups. So things I've got going on tomorrow, the dates are bolded. Anytime I've set up a follow-up date, it's going to be there. I can set a goal for applications. I think 5 a week is a good start, and it'll help you work through that as jobs get moved to the applied stage. And then this is your funnel or your pipeline. And this is ever. So if you archive jobs, they're still here. If unfortunately you get rejected from a job, they're still here. It's meant to show you the efficacy of your funnel. And so jobs bookmarked to apply to interviewing to negotiated. And then this is going to be any jobs that are in the applying stage, right? Our goal is to help you do the things you are in complete control over, which is applications. Setting a goal on interviews is hard. It's out of your control. But applications are 100% in your control. And that's what we want to goal around. And that's what we want to help you make sure you get those out. So here priorities is any jobs that are in the applying stage. And then the percentage is as you do these. Again, they're there just to kind of guide you and help you. You can still move it to applied without doing any of those. It's just going to change the order of them here in your priorities. And again, you can click any of them and go straight to that job. So the home should be a nice place to sort of ground you. And then here you're seeing the top skills across all the jobs you've bookmarked. So these are the top 10 skills that are showing up in the jobs I've bookmarked. So it gives you a nice little view of the sort of commonalities or the patterns you're seeing across all the jobs you've saved. If you're pivoting and you're considering like 4 or 5 different career paths, this may not be as helpful. But if you're kind of on a career path, then it'll show you, hey, these are the core skills. You need to at least have these in your resume. Even if you're not tailoring them per job, let's make sure you have these in each resume. All right. Let's now upgrade this account. So give me 1 sec to just take this email address and upgrade it. I'm just doing that on another monitor here. Okay, so this account's upgraded now. Apologies for that. So now you can see that in the resume builder, in matching mode, the job was attached, so same job. Now we can see all the skills and keywords. And this tool is mostly useful on Teal Plus. Again, we do the top 5 for free, but this one's probably less useful in the free category. But once you upgrade, you see you've got high priority keywords. And what we're doing with high priority keywords are words that show up more than twice or more, or in the requirements section. These are keywords refined. And sometimes, like the company is called Workday, and Workday is a skill if you're applying in HR. So you might see it show up twice. And if in this particular case, I can just ignore it. It's like, look, that keyword for this particular job is not relevant. As much as we try, sometimes there's just going to be certain things the computer can't catch. So we'll give you the control to do it yourself. But obviously enterprise marketing is really important. So that's a keyword. It's not on my resume anywhere. And then we can do show all, and we can see all of them. And the cool thing about building out a continual career history is we can see words that are on our career history, just not turned on this resume. So proven track record is on my resume somewhere. It's actually in this professional summary. Now, is that a term that needs to be in there? Look, it's a language they're using. It doesn't hurt to add it. I'll go ahead and use that professional summary instead. And so that gets it in there, checks that keyword for me. Soft skills, same. So sales, if I want to see where I am including it, it'll just turn that on for me so I can see it. And then ignored, if you need to unignore a keyword, you can do that down here. So some of these, I may want to go in and use the AI. So let's add some more achievements here. And what I'll often do is see if there's any keywords that I want to incorporate directly. Led development of cloud platform technology, enabling IT. So let's go ahead and use the word enterprise instead. Enterprise platform technology, save that, gives me a few. Again, I'm doing this for quick demonstration purposes. Sort of underlying all of this is a belief that we do not lie about our career history. We do not use AI to fib. And so that's just kind of like, we operate that as a first principle. We're just sort of assuming people aren't doing that. We have no protections against that. We don't try to. We assume people are using it in good faith. So the AI is not, it will sort of like make things up, but it's giving you, language that's in the JD and structured in a way that you may have done it. So modify it, change it. Do not put anything on your resume you haven't done before. But it should help should help to do that process much quicker. So a term like positioning, maybe I'll just add that as a skill, because that is a marketing skill. Putting that into achievement may be a little tricky, so now I'll turn on positioning. And so what I would do is I would work through and get that. And the first few resumes may take you a little bit longer, but if you're applying to jobs that are of similar profile, now it should start to get really, really quick. And every time you're adding, you're making your career history richer and richer, which will make it faster and faster for the next one. So it's one of these things that the more you do, the faster you get, because your database of career history is going to get longer and better and richer. Right. So that's the matching mode. And that's how you would work through that. We're not going to take the time to sort of tune them all up. Then if we go over to analysis, now you can see all the issues, right? So here's an achievement that it's saying is too long. So it's one of the ones that the AI wrote. We give it a character count, but sometimes the AI continues to go. So this may be one where, I might get rid of that, or I'll duplicate it, or I'll just ignore that issue. That's entirely up to you as well. But those get solved. And this is saying that this particular job has too many achievements because jobs further down on your resume, we don't think should have as many. So that's built into the guidance as well. And so that'll help you sort of structure your resume. And we have this idea of time-based statements. This is the one that sort of fails a little bit. So I wouldn't get too hung up if you can't get this one to pass. We're actively working to rewrite these rules, but the intent of this rule is, you achieve something and it gets that much punchier if you can say in how long you achieved it, right? Oh, I just grew revenue. No, I grew revenue in 6 months, 12 months, 9 months, right? So that's the goal of a time-based statement. So frame it however you want. That's the intention. It's quite literal on how it looks for the words. So if you can't get it to pass, that's the goal and the intention of that rule. All right, I think I covered all the things. There's a personality assessment. I'm not going to cover it here. I'm a big fan of it. I love it. But for searching for a job, maybe if you're pivoting careers, it could be a little more helpful. So I'm not going to cover that, but it's pretty self-explanatory if you want to give it a whirl. And then there's a ton of stuff on our Career Hub. That's all content and guidance. I recommend you check out our YouTube channel. More and more stuff coming there.